Hello, I'm Stephanie, and I'm going to talk to you about learning progression for shapes in geometry. So, we're going to start in grade 4. In grade 4, polygons are closed shapes with similar attributes. So, here, students are going to learn about sorting shapes and what attributes are similar to each other. So, we have a four-sided polygon here. The students are learning what the terminology is for polygon and that it equals a multi-sided shape. So here we have one example of a polygon, and then we have our rhombus here, not very nicely drawn, but it is also the same attributes as a square. We have four vertices on each corner, even though we do have that it's not square, that it has two parallel lines and two horizontal lines that are the same length, whereas the square has all sides the same length. But these are the properties that you would be sorting and discussing. Now that brings us to grade 5. In grade 5, we're still working with 2D shapes mainly, but now we're describing closed shapes that have area and perimeter. So if we take our four-sided shape here, a square, now we're talking about what is the area around the shape and in the shape. So we have the perimeter, and students are learning that we need to add all the sides together to equal the perimeter. So if each side was 2 centimeters, and then we add all four sides together or times it by 4, we would get the perimeter of the square, which would equal 8 centimeters. Now, we also are learning that the area inside the shape is known as the area, and that makes up of everything in here. So, to figure out how much of the space the shape takes up, we are now calculating the area inside the shape by taking the base and timesing it by the height. So if we have the same 2 centimeters, on both sides, we would have 2 centimeters times 2 centimeters, giving us an area of 4 centimeters squared. 4 centimeters squared. Just like that. Students will learn how and compare the shapes, perimeter, and area, and learn terminology and how to represent the numbers. Now, in grade 6, we're building on not only being able to describe shapes based on their properties, their area, and their perimeter, but now we're adding angles and volume. So with our square, we are now learning that each angle inside the square can be classified as a right angle, and they all equal 90 degrees in a square. We are also evaluating 3D shapes and quadrilaterals. So a four-sided shape. And we're building on that what we learned about area and applying that with our angles to find the area of a quadrilateral. So students will be taking the height, which will be represented as a measurement from the top angle down to the line. So I'm going to draw this a little bit better. So in a quadrilateral. It's no longer perfect and beautiful like the square, so we can't just simply go base times height to get the area of a quadrilateral. We now have to use our angles, our knowledge of angles, to figure out the area. So we measure from the top corner or the part of the angle there all the way down where it meets the base. And if this was 2 centimeters, I like 2 centimeters, it's easy. And our base fully was a base of 6 centimeters. Then we're following the same steps that we would for our 2D shapes and going 6 centimeters times 2 centimeters, giving us 12 centimeters squared for the area of our quadrilateral. Now we can also add in volume here, where we're finding out how much the space of takes up within an object, not just the space the object takes up, but now how much water can the cylinder hold. And now we add in that we can measure our base times our height and now our width. Which would equal the volume, and calculating how much an object can hold. All right, this is the learning progressions for geometry from grades 4 to 6.